Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is kind of not like I don't usually do these things, but I do usually do like deck profiles leading into like a regional, but someone on the main core challenged content creators to kind of make like a guide per se to like the top meta decks, and I mean as like they wanted to know like everything, like lines and play patterns and all that stuff. So I decided to kind of like make a general lot, because some of the times that's specific to the deck you're playing on what you want to do. But I made like a generalized thing. So I broke it down to a few categories, like kind of what kind of deck types you will see at the regional. So welcome to the 2025 Louisville Regional Meta Deck Breakdown. Yeah, this is the name. Purpose: to get players ready for the metagame based on known, that's supposed to say quantities, but I put quants on accident. Thanks, autocorrect, from previous events. And help players identify play patterns of the top metagame decks. So, yeah, man. So this is just like a little primer, I guess. Take it as you will. It's just one old man rambling into the sky. Hope this helps out. I got like 60 slides, so let's get to it. First up, we got the deck's type of Blitz Style. That includes Pony, Porco, and Mikasa 1, and the like. So basically, Blitz Style tries to overwhelm the rival with more attacks than they can block. That means that they're going to play as many attacks per turn until they kill you. Normally, that is just trying to block tax you. So, let's get into strengths and weaknesses. Oh, also, it's usually 7 hand-size characters that play Blitz Style, because 6 hand-size aggro doesn't really exist. So, and you try to tell me that, and yeah, no. It's usually a 7 hand-size character. Strengths. Fast pace. Turn 2 or 3 kill range. Turn 2 with great hands, or god hands as I like to say, but normally it's turn 3. Turn 2, they usually attack and soften you up for a full turn 3 send, because they'll build out more, because normally it's really hard to kill people on 4 to 5 foundations, especially through a couple blocks. But man, if they get that god hand, if Pony or Mikasa gets that god hand, you're probably dead. Same thing with Porco, right? Like if they have like the hand, you're dead. So number 2. Card quantity. Deck will have abilities to refill hand as the turn moves on, either through character or in deck. Through character, either like Mikasa after it hits, and then she can commit a foundation to draw a card. Pony gets to sculpt. She gets to pitch one, draw. It's pitch then draw. Sometimes she has also like bonus effects, like Wish Hard, Feral Shriek, and the like to refill the hand. Porco just loops things, which is actually the next strength. Card looping, either with cards in deck or character can replay cards in card pool that have previously resolved. Some decks just, I don't, like the 3 decks mentioned that are at the top of my list for Blitz decks are, like they're probably not playing Airship, but they could. Like Beast Summoning is a big loop card that Pony likes to play. Mikasa can also play. It's not a weapon, but she can still clear it. And then I think, no, maybe it's the weapon part. I don't remember the Mikasa errata, so boo me in the comments. But Pony gets to play it. Porco also gets to loop attacks over and over again in his card pool as long as he has 4. He doesn't have to flip if he doesn't want to. But that is not, they do have strengths, but they also have weaknesses. Weaknesses. Number 1, card pool disruption. By adding cards to the card pool to increase progressive difficulty. Driven by Retribution. Runaway is a good one. Creative Strategists. You could also just use Great Buckler to trap the attack in the card pool, but you need to have an enhanced step for it. And my head's in the way of the next one, but Breaker, the next played card's check is reduced by that Breaker amount. Breaker hurts, Breaker 2, Breaker 3. Being able to stack Breakers later in a turn really could force some turns to end with these Blitz decks, because they're attacking so fast that, or so early, I should state, that they may not be able to have a good enough stage. That's why a lot of the professional, like I should say the professional, the best Pony players kill people on 3. Same thing with Porco. Porco can do it, but like the Mikasa, the Porco, and the Pony decks, the MPP, as I want to call them, they kill on 3 consistently. It's usually the turn they're going to go in. 2 is just usually a tester turn, unless they have like the hand, right? And the final weakness, final couple weaknesses is attack deletion. removal of the current attack from the card pool. So that's like Cape, Dimensional Sphere, that stops looping, being able to get rid of attacks from the card pool using those abilities, or just like flipping it in using mansplaining. The Mineta card from Girl Power, just flipping it in the middle of the attack can also help hindrance. It can delete an attack, which is amazing. Also 4, damage reduction. The act of reducing the damage of the attack so you don't have to block. So you're looking at like 9 Titans. Hanji 2 is a damage reduction beast. There's a bunch of foundations. There's like Broken Psyche to lower the damage of the attack. Granted, Broken Psyche isn't the best, but you want like repeatable damage reduction because they're going to keep throwing attacks at you turn after turn after turn. So, like, they are some of the easier decks to play in the format at first, but there's a lot of nuance to them. You just don't see Orange Slam Orange, right? You actually have to have nuance with it. You have to control your aggression. You can't go in too deep. The real sign of a great Blitz deck player is when they know to pull back the reins and stop. When they know they're not going to kill you, they just build out and wait to the next turn. That's when you know you have a really, really good, like, aggro player, as I like to call it. But I think aggro is such a general term, right? So I decided to call it a Blitz player. So moving on to the next deck type. Deck type stat manipulation, whether this be by damage reduction, damage boost, speed reduction, speed boost. So Rodan, number 1 on our list. Number 2, the Girl Peak. Also, I included Ymir because she's still got legs. She's still really good. She just piles stats, and she has speed reduction on face on her flip side. And then we also have Inasa. Inasa's kind of like one of those dark horse characters that can reduce, and he can manipulate speed very well. So, and he gets to refresh things, which doesn't exist. RIP refresh. So we're going to step manipulation. The characters that can manipulate the damage and or speed of the current attack in their favor, whether it be to block, to push an attack through. These are the characters that are like generally called the value town characters. That they're just really, really solid in all aspects of the game, whether it be offense or defense. So strengths. Plays a flexible game plan, like I just said. Can adjust to the rival's game plan on the fly to counter the plan of their rival. So if like your rival's looking to heavily damage damage pump, you can play a lot of speed reduction to block it because it doesn't matter how big the attack is if it doesn't hit you. And conversely, like if you have some damage reduction, or you have like you have some damage reduction in your deck, you're able to just flip the stats, or whatever, and reset, do stuff like that. Value style attack lineup. This one was kind of weird to like put into words because I can't just put value town on it. The attack lineup can be more generic good ones attacks since the characters can buff the stats of the attack. So they could play multiple 4-diffs, like the Jose Norono Peak deck played a bunch of 4-diffs because she gets 3/3 to everything. Rodan with Science Bros gets X+1. If you X+1 speed, you get speed +1/1, and then if you have Incubanes, you get damage up to wazoo, right? Like it's just crazy. So like you get to play like more lower difficulty curve because your stats become higher difficulty curve type stats, is what I'm trying to say. Next up, speed control. Normally this style of deck relies on the character manipulate the current attack speed as needed. So like Inasa, Ymir, all 4 of them, Ymir, Peak, and Rodan, all have a way to manipulate speed on face. Whether it be through a static or through an ability. I think that's the best thing about these characters is that they can control the speed of the game, how fast things come at you, how things go away, how they go at your rival. It's really that's like the key reason why I love these style of characters, because they have speed reduction on face, because I'm a sucker for speed reduction on face. Everybody knows that, because I love playing defense. So, yep. Moving on to weaknesses. Struggles against early game struggles early game against more aggressive style decks like the Blitz style types of decks. Normally they are trying to go for a turn 3, turn like 3, 4, 5 type win. Sometimes these decks can do a turn 3 win, but they usually need some more setup. And they struggle into decks that can go off on turn 2 or turn 3. Turn 3 is like that flex turn where it's just like, well, I hope I have my defense ready for them to come in at me. Sometimes they just tax you full of blocks and they kill you from full or kill you from like a little bit, like just under half or whatever, depending on how much they did on turn 2. Also, number 2, decks with a heavy committal or stun package. When in doubt, tap them out. So like into Rodon, into Peak, if you can like commit them down so they have all committed foundations, they struggle to defend. Peak probably not, Rodon, and eventually Rodon, it will catch up to Rodon because he's gonna have, especially if he has bad block mods on top, he really needs foundations to commit to pass checks. Eventually Peak's gonna run out of ways to ready foundations by her destruction and flipping ability, about her character ability, about that cycle, so she needs to be able to have foundations to block. Unless she's just going to sit on -3 speed the entire game and just yeet her foundations into the ether, and then that's a win for you because then she has to build out constantly every turn. This one is more me projecting. Overconfidence. Able to take advantage. The player heavily relies on just the character or overcommits into you. Some think these characters are untouchable. I have been caught in that trap where I'm just like, well, I can defend anything from any position with Rodon as long as I have some good block mod, +4, +3 on top of my, but then I get committed out and I have a bunch of +1s and I can't block anything and then I die. Same thing with Peak where I've been committed out and I'm like, well, I have one ready foundation, but they're throwing like 7 speed moves at me, or they're just looping the same 2 attacks, or they're just playing on, attack, clear, attack, clear, attack, clear, attack, clear, and they're just playing on 5s their whole entire turn. And then that's when you get into trouble. Next up are the tall type attacks, or I like to call like the big style, like the big giant numbers. This also kind of truncates into 4-check decks, but like Godzilla, Smiling, Hanzoe kind of falls into 2 categories because she likes to send the giant attacks using 9 Titans, but she's also in the backup deck section. So we'll talk more about her then. And then also Annie as like a dark horse of this tall attack because she gets to put 3 damage on big moves and gets to kind of help circumvent that playing big like difficulty attacks by using check boosts. Tall attack style. Deck that can capitalize on normally then higher difficulty attacks. Also, larger stat increases come baked into the deck. Like your character, like Smiling, putting X damage or X speed. Annie getting 2 speed if you have backups and 3 damage and checks. Godzilla gives you a free 3 damage, and then if you use his ability, it's 2 to checks. Strengths, very linear. Easy to pick up and play, straightforward. Game plan is normally giant numbered attacks. There really isn't anything cute in the deck. You know what's going to happen. Godzilla's going to throw 5 to 6 diff moves at you. Probably going to throw you a walk the dog. Probably going to play unyielding. So you need to find a way to deal with these things. But it's so linear and easy to play. Like you know it's coming. Sometimes you just can't stop it. Number 2, ways to mitigate costs. Can find ways to boost checks by character abilities or other cards. An example, City Rampage. So these decks play like massive 5 diffs, play 6 diffs. Some of them play 8, 9, 10 diffs as like Smiling Titans. So you're going to have to find a way to mitigate those costs of playing a high difficulty attacks. Smiling just builds for days very well. She readies herself when she hits to play another move because that's why she's tenacious. Godzilla gets +2 to play in a check, to play an attack. Same thing with Annie gets +2. Hanzoe just commits backups to pass things. So there's just ways to circumvent this. And then the third one's pretty easy to see. It's overwhelmed with big stats. Attacks have normally high base stats to start. So even if you do reset it, you're still taking like 8 damage or 9. Or in the case of that one card, 12. Like in that 9 diff, that Berthold card or whatever. I forget. Colossal Destruction Power or whatever from set 2 AOT. Yeah. That one's like a 12 damage move on base. So it's like, yeah, I'm still gonna take 12. So you have to be really cognizant that they could just slam base printed moves at you. Stat resets aren't always gonna save you. But again, some of these decks do struggle against resets. Being able to reset those back to base speed or damage makes the attack manageable. So if the thing has a high base damage, you want to set it back to base speed so you can block it. Doesn't matter how hard it's going to hit if you block it. And conversely, like if they're sending a super fast move, you want to reset it back to base damage to take as little as possible. Second weakness, linear game plan. You can see the attacks coming, and it's telegraphed, man. You know when they're gonna do it, but sometimes it's not enough, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword being a linear game plan. It's super easy to pick up, play, but it's also super easy to see coming. But sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes Godzilla just has that City Rampage 4-attack turn, and you just die. So. Or Smiling just rips the nuts. It's ravages, and you just die. So yeah, it's one of those weird double-edged swords. Next up, 3, struggles against control. If a rival's deck can stabilize and play defense, it can be a struggle to get back in the game. So what I mean by that is, these decks have like a small window. They have like a turn 3-ish window. They want to be able to hit them once on turn 2, and then 2-tap them on turn 3 usually. Godzilla can just blow up the board and stuff like that. It's a little different, but again, if he falls behind in the build, normally right after he blows up the board, and he wants to play 2 foundations, you don't see a rampage and 4 attacks, and then he wins if he just checks 5s. But not often, that's not always the case. So you're gonna have to find a way to capitalize on these control decks that can just build 6 after you blow up the world, or unyielding them down to 4, and then you build 1 and they build 4, and then you're behind again. So the issue is that you can get behind very fast if you're not prepared for it. Next up, we have combo decks. Some assembly required. That includes Midoriya on the move and Elder Kotogoro. Combo deck style is the deck consists of a specific Kelkon or multiples. Some decks have multiples, and the deck was baked around protecting that kill condition. So that's like Phantom Threat. It's back in the old with Travis Tangeman's Elder Kotogoro deck with Twisting Azure Inferno. There's like he could still do it with 200%, right? Like he could still play a pretty decent move. He can still get you to to die by doing big honking combo moves. So, and it's not like combo as in your like combo keyword. It's like I got this piece and I have this piece. It's like Deku 6, right? Like I got the hand trap, I got the Dr. Ichigaki, I got all this stuff ready, and all I gotta do is use my form to turn everything sideways, send that Phantom Threat for lethal, and I win, right? And there's no way out. They can't get out of it, right? Like there's no way. They'd have to have double like Genkai's guidance to get out of it, right? And the appropriate foundations. So, oh, I missed strength 1. Oops. Yeah, strength 1 is in the right order. It is not. I missed strength 1. Oh no. Okay. Well, let me find my notes. 1 second. Strength 1 is because I forgot to do it. That's so weird. I think I had a problem. Huh? That's funny. I'm leaving this in. I'm not. Strength 1. Once the game plan is applied, you achieve absolute victory, right? Like once you get all your pieces in place, like your Ichigaki, or you have oh shoot, there's a couple other like Filled with Doubts or whatever you need. Like I guess that doesn't work on defense, but on offense. But like you find those specific pieces. I can't think of the Deku cards right now. I'm sorry. Once you get all other than Dr. Ichigaki, that solves all your problems. You can just go off, King. Like you just once you get to that point, the scale just tips in your favor to 100%. Number 2, low attack count in the deck. Makes your opening turns much easier to get your board set up. One thing about these decks is they want a wide board. They want a lot of options. They need their pieces to defend their combo. So they need to hit those foundations very fast. Number 3, more tech pieces or quality cards. You're able to play a variety of tech pieces due to a lower attack count. So since we're only playing like 16 to 17 attacks, we can play those multiple copies of X card, or we can play Y card or Z card in the deck to protect that people may not be expecting, or they will be expecting because they know it's a known quantity. Weaknesses. Weakness on turns 2 and 3. Decks that favor early aggro can get a jump on the combo styles. It gets time to set up. Normally by turn 3, if you're the first player by turn 3, you can usually survive pretty well, but they will go into you super hard because they know you by turn 4. You're probably killing them with your combo. That's just something you want to watch out with. You want to be able to defend very well. Deku 6 and Elder Dragoro are very good at defending early game. It's just you have to get to that point where you're able to stabilize. Kind of like against like the tall attack decks where you can just, or like a control, as a control deck. These are also kind of in the control aspect, but not like a stat stick type thing. Loses to resets, hand traps, or attack deletes. It's usually easy to see the attack coming. It's usually telegraphed. Like Deku goes, well, I'm just going to commit my board sideways. Do you have a Genkai's Guidance? Do you have a second one? You know, stuff like that. Or like, long are the days of, you know, evading copy where you can just go like, slam, I got you, right? Like, you just need to have ways to, multiple ways to deal with things. And that's why, like, it's good to have layered defense instead of just like, hey man, my character is just all my defense. You want to have layers to your defense so you don't just get punked on. 3. Also a bad thing. Low attack count is also bad. You might not see them when you need them when the moment is right, or you may have checked and removed them due to the cycle. I've played Deku 6 a few times, and there have been times where I've checked 8 of my 16 attacks or 14 attacks, whatever many attacks I had. I checked like a lot of them early game, and I had to cycle to get my attacks back because I just was not seeing them, and I was being pressured, so I had to block with certain things, and it's very hard to like just like usually you want one move to hit early game, like you just pump it a bit, you hit it, and then you hit them with the hard one, like the big one later, right? Or like in this case, you play Aerial Goblin Bolt, and then you play your Phantom Threat, and then, you know, sometimes you just fail it because you just send everything to the moon on it. Next up's the backup style deck. That includes Hanji Zoe 1 and Zeke Jaeger Warchief. And, you know, you probably throw in Annie 2 as well, Annie Awakened, or Jester 1, like Tam has played her with the backup deck. But the backup decks are pretty versatile, but these two are the main ones. Backup style. This deck uses backups to further the game plan by stat manipulation. That's either getting a bunch of speed or minus damage, bunch of damage, you know, minus speed, blah, 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 blah. 9 Titans. It's the #1 strength. Being able to have this card, as in Hanji's case, in the start of the game on the board, and it's untouchable. Either you have to play like Devastating Loss, Nape Strike, or I think it was called, or you have to play Violent Animus Shot to deal with it. It's a huge strength. It's very hard to deal with this card once it gets on board. Also, it does like a kabillion damage. See, like this thing. Every attack can be a finisher, either with 9 Titans or big damage throws using backup stat pumps. Hitch is a huge one. I know, like, the Zeke deck doesn't get that big of damage. He needs to use, like, Titan Falls and stuff. But, hey, man, Hanji gets both of them, and she gets to play 9 Titans for free right out of the deck. So, yeah, you got to watch out, because any attack they throw, like Beast Titan attacks could be a throw if they yeet a backup. Yeah, it's very dangerous. A very strong defensive package with attack ceiling with, like, Filled with Doubt, or damage reduction with, like, Hitch, 9 Titans. You know, they also have Loyalty with a Friend. Both decks play that. It's just very hard to deal with the massive amount. You have to be prepared to like churn through these backups until get to that turn to where you can really just go in. Weaknesses. Struggles to block at times due to low foundation count. With the large amount of backups in the deck, it can be hard to get a good turn 1 build at times. I've played some Hanji 1 at locals, and I've seen Justin play it on TTS on our crash course nights. Sometimes you just get dealt a really shit hand, and you have like 2 foundations, 2 backups, 2 attacks, and you're like, well, I guess I just play these because they're your backups are technically a foundation too, but you don't really want to commit them because sometimes they're just really good, like Hitch or Nine Titans, to pass checks. But normally, if you can get past that turn 2 build, you can start to like really get your game plan on board, because sometimes it's just hard to get a foothold if you're just committing your backups all the time to do like stat resets, stat pumps, debuffs. It's slow to get started. Since many backup game plans are mid to late game, the deck is weak to aggro early game at times. So like decks that can throw, like Godzilla can take advantage of it. Like the tall decks can take advantage of the backup decks because their moves are so huge and they can't block them because they don't have a lot of foundations to block with sometimes until late game. So if like Godzilla goes turn 2, rampage, you're just gonna die. Pony's a little weird because if you have 9 Titans out, you just like ignore an attack, but again, like she's probably going to throw 12 of them at you and they're all coming in for 4 to 6 damage, so eventually you're just going to die. But you are very weak to early turn aggro. 3, the opening build is crucial. Your mulligan is the most important thing of this in a backup deck. It can be stressful during mulligans if you see a lot of backups in hand, because one, you want to see backups, but you don't want to see all the backups. You do want to see some foundations, you don't want to see all foundations. So you want to see this weird mixture of like maybe like 3 to 4 foundations and 2 backups and no attacks or anything else, and it's very hard because your deck plays other things, but like you need these pieces to get going, but you don't want that many of them at the same time. And leading into the last deck style I have for you guys today, Rogue. We love Rogue style decks. They're everyone's favorite. No one wants to face them because they usually don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're doing against them. They know what you're doing against you, and it sucks. Really, King Ghidorah is the #1 Rogue deck in the format right now. I call him Rogue because he doesn't really fit into any of the categories I have. He may fit into stat manipulation or a combo deck because he needs to find certain pieces to survive and to kill. But I like him as a rogue deck because people don't like to play against him, and they also don't like to play him. A vast majority, I should say. He's just very difficult to deal with. He changes the way the game is played. I think he should be banned, but whatever. He can be errated. But like, that's here nor there, but like he changes how you play the game into him, and he doesn't have to change his game plan at all for you unless he's fighting the mirror. That also, like Not the Brave, I know Tim Keefe's huge on Not the Brave, so it's like these weird off-the-wall characters that people don't normally play very much that may be on like the 11th iteration of their deck. Or brand new things like Street Fighter. Street Fighter comes out the Friday before the event. Street Fighter's been on TTS. People can, make custom cards on TTS. They can print proxies. So they have been playing with these cards. Don't kid yourself. Ryu's pretty decent. Jamie's really good. He's going to blitz you down. He is a really, really good aggro deck. Rogue styles. Typically an unknown or not widely played character. Usually takes the event by surprise. So sometimes it's just like, whoa, never saw that guy coming. Like the Bakugo 4 at the OCE earlier this season, like people knew about it, but it's just like a perfect storm, and he just took over because it's like the land of the DR. Strengths, unknown into the meta, not normally a brand new character or not as popular like a Ghidorah, like a Bakugo. Like Ryu, Chun-Li, Luke, Jamie, like those guys. Like a Devil Jin back in the day before Devil Jin blew up. Like he was like on Rogue deck. Like a lot of people didn't even know how to play him correctly. I still don't. Normally players are not ready or prepared for it. Kind of goes with the first point. Like it's hard to get a game. Like you're always practicing for like the 5 or 6 meta decks. Like you're slamming your deck into them, right? And it's hard to get a gauge on, well, what else am I going to see? Because you're going to hyper focus in on these top tier decks that you may miss something off to the side, like a Knot, like a King Ghidorah, X, Y, and Z. Weaknesses. Usually it's untested into the meta. Sometimes matchups are more theory crafted than actual reps. Like with the Street Fighter characters. Like unless you have TTS or print proxies, you're just guessing how things are going to go. If I have X, Y, and Z, if I hit Christmas Land, this happens. We're going to have these new reversal type cards brought into the meta, so it's very hard to see if any of these characters can use them. Matchups can usually be one-sided. Wide variance with matchups due to focusing in on one specific matchup. You may never see the deck you specifically are, ready for. So, like, a lot of times rogue decks are really, really good into one or two specific meta decks. Like, you tune your deck to face those because those are going to be, like, the known quantities. Sometimes you may never even see them, right? Like, it's wild. You could say, hey, I'm going to tech my deck for peak. You may not face a peak the entire day or until like the last round or whatever, right? Like it's just the way it is. In a 200-person event, which is pretty close, you may not see the deck you're siding for or teching for, right? You may be playing these two cards main board and one side because this matchup wrecks you, but you may not see them all day, and then you're just, well, these cards were blank all day. And finally, how to prepare for this event. How to prepare for meta decks is one of like the questions we see a lot of the times on the Discord from newer players. I would say build the meta decks and play them. Learn them inside, like just play some games. Learn how they go. Learn their flow. That's how you learn their lines, right? You learn them better than being told what they do. By actual experience, I believe that you can learn how these decks work, how they function, and how your game plan can go into them, right? Like I am playing Rodon at the Louisville Regional. I've played Peak. I've played a Porco. I've seen a Mikasa. I've played Pony. Blah blah blah. I played a Hanji. I played Godzilla. I played Ymir. It experience is a good teacher, and it's a good way to learn how to combat these decks and build the deck against them, and how you build a sideboard into them. That's really all. Other than what I've said in this video, that's really all I can say. It's really hard to say, well, this is what you do all the time against this deck, because you may not be playing a deck that could do that, right? Like, you may be playing a Blitz deck into another Blitz deck, and it's like, I guess you're just racing. But you could also take a turn off, let them come into you, and then clap them back, right? You have to change up your play style sometimes, depending on what your matchup is. So hopefully I didn't run too long. It's about a half an hour. I'm glad it's not an hour like some people said it was going to be. I really hope it helped. Thank you for thanks for putting that out there, that it was requested. It's been a few hours worth of work. I hope it gets some traction. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if it's helpful. Maybe we do more of these. I would really like to see the other community content creators pick something up like this. Like, we each take a style and we each look at stuff, or we each do a meta deck, and then you get to see multiple perspectives and stuff like that. That'd be super neat. So, yeah, guys. So we'll see you. Like I said, I have videos going all week. I was going to try to scale it back, but I'm a grinder, man. I can't stop it. So we'll see you on Friday for Crash Course. We'll see you on Monday for Take 10. Take 10 is returning on Monday. I have Ryan Kogod of Let's Talk UniVersus and of Milwaukee fame. He's my buddy. And then we got Louisville on the 18th, man. Yeah, we'll be there Friday. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed it. And then that's it, man. And we're doing that cool Midwestern goodbye thing where I don't say goodbye for real. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit those bells for notifications. Share it with your friends. If you know some new players that are going to the regional, share us with them. It'd be a lot of help. It really helps out the algorithm in the channel. And until the next video, take care.